I've got the Concept X40 here, I've got the RX9 here, same furniture, and I want to see which one of these two bows are going to be the most accurate at a distance of 20 yards. One of the most asked questions I've ever received was, would a flagship target bow be so much more accurate than a flagship hunting bow? And today I'm going to put that to the test. And to do the comparison, I've got the flagship Hoyt Concept X40 here, which is my target bow of choice this year. And I've got the Carbon RX9 bow from Hoyt, which is the flagship bow, which is my choice for the hunting season this year. And I've got the same accessories fitted on both bows. I've got the Axle Achieve sight, the AAE Freak Show rest, and for stabilizers I've got the 30-inch Conquest Smackdown front bar and a 15-inch Smackdown sidebar. And then I'm shooting Eastern Pro Tour arrows. I'm shooting a 420 out of my target bow, and I'm going to shoot a 380 out of the hunting bow, just purely because the RX9 spec is a little bit better, the performance is better, and the 380 shoots better from this bow. It's the same flagship arrows, and for me it's important to make sure everything is the same and it's just the bows that's going to be different. And just to show you that we are going to be consistent, this is the Axle Achieve, the Conquest front rod and side rod, the AAE Freak Show rest. On both of the bows I've got the Speciality Archery peep sight with the clarifier in there. So we're going to shoot on an IFAA 5-spot face. I'm going to shoot 5 arrows on 1 spot. The X is about 1.5 inches, and I'm hoping of the 20 arrows that I'm going to shoot out of each bow is that I'm going to try and shoot all my arrows inside the X. This is arrow number 1 of 20. Making sure that was a good shot, and that's a spot on X. I am expecting the Concept X to be a little bit easier to hit the X, but you never know. This is my competition bow that I am shooting a lot. Everything is set up nicely. I'm shooting a Carter Just Cuz release aid, and I'll be shooting this release also with the RX9. So you can hear carbon on carbon there. It's a tad low, so I'm just going to move this down 1 or 2 clicks. That was low. That was low, but that's me not shooting a good shot there. And after I've made the adjustments of wanting to shoot higher, I ended up shooting this 1 arrow low. It's in essence not a bad grouping. I know this was me. That's why I'm doing the test. It's still inside the 5 circle. I wanted to keep everything in the X, but it is what it is. So let's go for round number 2. So the reason why I'm shooting on one specific spot is after the 20 arrows, I want to see what that grouping size is going to be. And I'm expecting maybe hitting a few fletchers or hitting a knock here or there. But in essence, it's about the grouping size for me. Round number 2. That should be on the money. I must say I'm actually quite nervous shooting in front of the camera the whole time. Five shots. So the groupings inside the X, I need to just make sure that I get nice and still and steady, that I can sort of get a nice centered group there. But overall, I'm happy with what I'm seeing there. Going on round number 3. So what I am finding with my target bow, and I've seen this outdoors as well, is I don't really get much left and right movements. So my grouping is more vertical than what it is horizontal. So the only reason why I'm shooting a little bit low or maybe a little bit high is because that's where the shot's actually going off. So the whole bow is nicely set up and nicely balanced, and I'm happy with that. Round number 3, done. So round number 3, after 15 arrows, got the grouping still inside the X. Happy about that. We're going for our last end of 5 arrows, completing the 20 arrows, then we're gonna head over to the RX9. So the reason why I'm doing this indoors today, it's a very cold day today, it's extremely windy. My plan is to do the same test but at 50 yards or 50 meters, just to sort of make a true comparison between the two. So it's an early morning, it's a cold start, happy with my shooting. It's a bow I know and the accuracy is good, so let's go for the last round. Last round of 5 arrows. I've made one mistake so far, which was a little bit low, but the grouping overall is pretty good. That's on the money in the X. Let's go look, 20 arrows done. Let's go check out the grouping. This was the last end. I've shot 20 arrows so far at 20 yards with my Concept X. And this was the grouping size that I got. I am using high-end products on the site to release the rest, the arrows. And well, as you can see, it's sort of in the lower half of the X. But in my opinion, that's a pretty decent grouping. I am happy with it. That was not a great shot at all. But overall, that is like an 1.5 inch grouping. So I'm going to grab the RX9 and see if we can shoot better than that. So this is the RX9 Ultra, 33-inch axle to axle. I am shooting Eastern Pro Tours with this, but I'm shooting a 380 spine just because the performance of this bow is, you know, far better than the Concept X. The let-off on this RX9 is higher than what it is on the Concept X, so it's a little bit of a different hold at the back. And I'm expecting maybe this bow to have a little bit more movement left and right versus my Concept X. This is round number 1 of 4, shooting 5 arrows on that spot. I think that's money. It aims really well. I'm actually quite surprised. The thing that does get me a little bit after having shot that Concept X is the let-off. This being higher, I need to make sure that I am a little bit more smoother with my release. And on the trigger, I've heard a lot of people say that if you take a 70-pound bow and you take it down, you take the poundage down, it's not going to be that accurate. This is a 70-pound bow. I'm shooting this at 60. I've taken it down 10 pounds and I'm hitting the X's all the time. So it's not difficult shooting. It's actually very, very nice. So I was expecting the bow to be a little bit more sensitive to left and right movements, but that is the best grouping I've shot the whole morning so far. This is very tight. This is all on the X. This was my first arrow. I shot this a little bit right, and after making that adjustment, that's on the money. Round number 2. That's money. Should be good. I am actually very surprised on this 34-ish axle to axle bow. It's 6 inches shorter than my Concept X40. It aims well. This is definitely a little bit more of a reflex riser, but it aims well. It's not twitchy at all. I'm not getting any left and right shots. Yes, I've got long rods on and so on, but this is why it's a nice comparison, having target gear on a hunting bow, shooting it at a distance of 20, which is very relatable to most, and just seeing if I can get those nice inside out X's, and it's working well. I'm actually very happy. Little bit shaky on that one, but that's in the middle, inside X's on all of them. Very happy. Maybe that'll be my new indoor target bow. So after round 2, 5 arrows, inside out X's on the legs, I am really happy what I'm seeing here. Okay, we are starting with round number 3. Should be money. Well, it's low. Same shot as with the Concept. That one just went off low. It's sitting just outside the X. Yeah, that's the thing, shooting indoors, hitting that X the whole time is just expecting it and wanting to shoot it. It's just building up on when you're going to miss that X. Still a good group. The others are inside out X's, just the one bad shot. So we've just missed recording these arrows, but this was my second last shot that I've just shot below the X. It just went off there. It was actually a pretty good shot. The dot just was not sitting in the X. But the rest of the arrows are nicely in the X there. In my opinion, still an extremely good grouping. And the thing what surprises me a little bit is I'm also not getting any left and rights for hunting bows. Some hunting bows are just very twitchy, and this bow is not. This is our last end. A little bit shaky on the release there. That's money. That's good. Yeah, well, an interesting round. Let's go check out the grouping sizes and just do a comparison. So this was the last end. All of these arrows are nice and in the X. This arrow here on the left hand side, very close. I'll fight for that one. So in my opinion, that's also an X. So of the 20 arrows that I have shot, I've missed one X with both. And it will be nice to just do a comparison between the two, just to see what difference there's going to be in the grouping sizes. And if I look at it on this target and the other one, this might be a little bit more, a little bit bigger, but let's do a proper comparison. So what an interesting morning, doing the comparison between a high-end target bow and a high-end hunting bow, shooting top-end products on both bows, the same furniture, same arrows. And this is the grouping that I got with the Concept X. I've shot 20 arrows, I've missed the X once, and this was the RX9, also missed the X once, and one on the line there. I wasn't quite expecting them to be so close, and I actually want to ask you guys, which one do you think is the best grouping for you? You know, the target bow is the bow that I'm shooting a lot. I am competing this year at the World Games with this specific bow and the same setup that I've shot this morning. And the RX9 is something that I set up yesterday, and I quickly tuned it and I sighted it in this morning. It's got a different grip. It's got a different draw cycle. I'm shooting this at the lower let-off setting on this specific cam, and I shot a really, really nice grouping. I'm going to do the same test outdoors at a longer distance, and then I think that's where there might be a little bit of a bigger difference. But overall, I'm actually extremely happy. So in my opinion, a high-end hunting bow at a distance of 20 meters is just as accurate as a high-end target bow if you just compare these two targets. So give me your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, the X is about 1.5 inches in size and diameter. Tell me what you think, which one you believe actually won this comparison. If you like this content, please subscribe. We're going to do more. Hope to see you on the next video.